in a step that could facilitate the formation of a coalition government between the ruling Justice and Development Party, AK Party, and the main opposition party. A prominent AK Party figure has said the graft probe files about former cabinet ministers accused of corruption could again be brought before Parliament. There are historical cases where corruption files about cabinet ministers have been reopened in Parliament, Deputy Prime Minister Bülent Arınç said on Friday. In a statement to reporters after attending a conference in Ankara, Arınç said, "I witnessed in the past that such a thing happened. Yes, I witnessed that corruption files were reopened. In the June 7 elections, no single party obtained enough parliamentary seats to form a majority government. The situation has sparked a national debate as to which party, if any, is likeliest to join the AK Party in a coalition government. Officials of the main opposition Republican People's Party, CHP, have said several times since last Sunday's elections that they would prefer not to join the AK Party in a coalition, but Arınç's statement could serve to break the ice between the two parties. However, a leading CHP official revealed, in a message over Twitter late on Thursday, that a sine qua non for the party in a potential coalition government is that CHP leader Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu be given the post of Prime Minister. The CHP will not be part of any solution in which the CHP leader would not serve as Prime Minister, CHP Deputy Chairman Veli Ababa said. Such a demand would be difficult for the AK Party to accept as the party has 259 seats compared with the CHP's 131 seats in the newly elected parliament. Opposition reluctant to form coalition with AK Party. All opposition parties have so far been reluctant to be partners in a coalition with the AK Party, particularly since two sweeping graft probes went public in December 2013. Since the probes, there has been more corruption, authoritarian rule and discourse bordering on hate speech towards the opposition. One of CHP's main pledges to voters during the election campaign was to call all those members of the former AK Party government who were allegedly involved in corruption to account before law. Four ministers in the former AK Party government: Economy Minister Zafer Alyan, Interior Minister Muammer Güler, EU Affairs Minister Ijman and Environment and Urban Planning Minister Erdoğan Bayraktar left their posts amid claims of corruption a week after the graft probe went public on December 17, 2013. Despite blatant evidence of corruption, the AK Party in January used its large majority in Parliament to vote against referring the four ex-ministers to a top court for trial, which meant the end of the legal process against them. Although the AK Party emerged victorious in Sunday's election, receiving almost 41% of the vote, its number of deputies fell from 326 to 259. In this new picture of Parliament, the three opposition parties in Parliament have the majority, which means the opposition could refer the four ex-ministers to the Constitutional Court, AYM, for trial should there be another vote on the corruption issue. The AYM serves as the Supreme Council when trying high-level state officials. It is not expected that the AK Party as a coalition partner would agree to such a procedure about the ex-ministers, as President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan and some members of his family are also allegedly involved in corruption. Arınç and Baykal agree on potential new handling of old graft case. Arınç's remarks, which give the green light to the referral of the ex-ministers, came after Wednesday's unexpected meeting between Erdoğan and Deniz Baykal, a veteran CHP deputy who will, as the oldest among the newly elected members of parliament, serve as temporary parliament speaker until a new one is elected. But Arınç also underlined that his party would not agree to discuss the fate of the ex-ministers as a coalition precondition with opposition parties. His take on the issue is strikingly similar in essence to what CHP's Baykal said after meeting with Erdoğan, in that both imply that the issue could be handled in parliament based on the initiatives of newly elected deputies rather than by parties. In an interview during the evening news on the Kanal D television channel on Thursday, Baykal said, "Steps to be taken in parliament about the allegations of corruption are not something to be decided by political parties, parliamentary groups in parliament or the government. This is something on which deputies would decide based on their conscience." Like Arınç, Baykal also added that this issue is not something to be brought up in potential coalition talks. A total of 276 seats, which represent an absolute majority in the 550-seat parliament, are required to form a government. As per the temporary election results announced by the Supreme Election Board, YSK, on Tuesday, the AK party won 259 seats with 40.92% of the vote and the CHP won 131 seats with 24.78% of the vote. As for the other two opposition parties in parliament, the Nationalist Movement Party, MHP, received 79 seats by securing 16.25% of the vote, while the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party, HDP, received 13.42% of the vote, securing 81 seats in parliament. CHP reactions mount against coalition with AK party. As indications of a potential AK party-CHP coalition emerges, reactions against such a step from the CHP have also started to increasingly appear. The CHP's main slogan in the electoral campaign was, "Vote so that they the AK party leave power." Hursit Guns, a CHP deputy from the previous term, has called for a party congress to convene, should the CHP decide to be part of a coalition, while emphasizing that the CHP should avoid forming a coalition with the AK party. Noting that the CHP has struggled from the start to send the AK party from power, Guns also implied, in a written statement on Friday, that the CHP got a disappointing share in the election, saying that it would be illogical for the CHP officials to consider forming a coalition government with the AK party based on what are perceived to be unsuccessful results. The main opposition CHP is the only opposition party represented in parliament that has seen a decrease in its votes, while the AK party experienced a drop of 9 percentage points compared to the general election in 2011. Musa Kam, a CHP deputy who was re-elected on Sunday, has told today's Zaman that grassroots voters in Izmir, the province where Kam was elected, are against a possible coalition with the AK party. Coalition without AK party hard to achieve. Though the AK party has lost its 13-year hold on power, any hopes for a coalition without it may prove impossible, as it would require the cooperation of the three remaining parties in parliament: the CHP, the MHP, and the HDP. Officials from the right-wing MHP have, on numerous occasions, stressed that the party would not be involved in any coalition with the HDP, noting that the HDP is closely associated with the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party, PKK. The MHP also staunchly opposes a settlement process began by the government and Abdullah Öcalan, the PKK's jailed leader, claiming that the process would lead to the disintegration of the country. The settlement process is, however, a red line for the HDP, although the party is not categorically against joining in a coalition with the MHP. Gül warns Erdoğan and Davutoglu not to seek early election. As coalition talks loom, President Abdullah Gül has revealed that he has warned Erdoğan and interim Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu against seeking an early election over the phone. "I only shared my view that forming a coalition government would be the right thing to do. I just gave some encouragement," Gül told reporters on Friday regarding his conversations with the two leaders, adding that the final decision would be up to them. Gül phoned Erdoğan on Thursday evening and expressed that the results of the parliamentary election would be for the best for Turkey, the private Anka news agency reported, citing presidential sources, while the Posta Daily reported that Gül had phoned both Erdoğan and Davutoglu, the latter right after the election. The message that has come out of the June 7 election calls for a coalition government. It would be a big mistake if this message were ignored and a decision were made to hold an early election, Gül was quoted as telling both leaders. The news of Gül's phone conversations came amid reports that Erdoğan is seeking an early election, as the June 7 election has forced the AK party to either seek a coalition or form a minority government. According to a report in the Hürriyet Daily, Baykal privately said, following his meeting, that Erdoğan favors seeking an early election because he believes it will be difficult to form a coalition government. Speaking to reporters after the 2.5-hour meeting, Baykal stated that the president understood the importance of forming a coalition government as soon as possible, that he is open to all coalition options, and that he does not object to the opposition parties forming a government. However, in private conversations, Baykal reportedly revealed that Erdoğan appears to be seeking an early election. He is thinking of ways to reverse the new political situation that emerged after June 7 with an early election. I asked him not to approach the post-election situation with a view toward revenge, and not to push for an early election, Baykal was quoted as saying. Following his meeting with Baykal, Erdoğan joined Davutoglu, as both expressed support for efforts toward a coalition. During a ceremony in Ankara on Thursday, Erdoğan said, "Everyone should put aside his ego and a government should be formed in our country as soon as possible." Noting that he will carry out the duties conferred on him by the constitution for the formation of a government, Erdoğan added that anyone who would block the formation of a government because of their ego would be held responsible before history and the nation. The pro-Kurdish HDP has ruled out the formation of a coalition government with the AK party, while the right-wing MHP has many red lines that it maintains must be respected before it is willing to join a coalition. Arın also told reporters on Friday that drawing red lines is not acceptable in politics, remarking, "No politician who has self-confidence would set out in such a fashion." It has been reported that Erdoğan will also meet with Murat Bezgioğlu, a deputy from the MHP, in the coming days, feeding rumors that he is also attempting to engage in talks of a coalition with the Nationalist Party.